This is my recap of Ladies of London, Season 1, Episode 2, Match Made in Tabloid Heaven. So someone asked me to wear my hair down. I'm going to try to do that, but I just didn't have time today. If you are not watching this show, you need to be watching this show. This has reinvigorated my life. I feel joy in watching reality TV again. No, seriously. I'm just really liking this show. I'm liking the ladies. It's different enough for me, for my life. Like Real Housewives of Orange County, that's what I grew up in. So watching a bunch of people tool around Orange County, I'm like, I kind of did that. Kind of the exclusivity of London just somehow intriguing to me, and I love London. Anyway, let's get into the season. So Marissa, when she was in America, worked on bars and clubs and all that, and her husband has this big club, and so she kind of implies that she's working on all these other things. So we see her at a restaurant and she's saying something about the lights and send these people food and all that. So so she meets with Juliet and they start talking about the Serpentine, which appears to be an exhibit at a gallery. It's kind of what I gathered. It's just an event. And it seems it's at a park, and it's apparently very exclusive, and there's tickets and all that. So, so they're all kind of getting their tickets, and somehow Noelle and Scott didn't get their tickets in time. I don't know what their deal is. So I know I could like go online and Google them, and I'm sure there's 1,000 tabloids. I just don't feel like doing that. I'm going to kind of stick with what I see on the show. If you want to add something in the comments and let me know, that's cool. I just decided that I personally am not going to dig into their into the dirt. I just want to watch the show. So this he's been having this ongoing situation with his trial. It gets dragged on because his soon-to-be ex-wife is convinced that he is hiding all this money. So she keeps getting these extensions so that she can get more money. I guess she spent $6 million so far on this trial, which is unbelievable. I don't really know what's going on. The whole thing sounds super sketchy. He went to jail because he wasn't willing to disclose his business partners, who he's worked with overseas, right? Like that sounds really sketchy. Right? Like that's like making me wondering if he's doing something illegal. And they're saying that she's claiming that he's hiding billions of dollars, and the courts apparently believe her well enough to continue this trial. So, and Noelle really says that she believes that the ex-wife believes that he has this money. And Scott used to have private jets and Bentleys and all these things, and he doesn't anymore. The whole thing is weird. So I kind of wonder if maybe he's not doing something illegal and he really is hiding that money. Anyway, so enough of that. They're looking for a new flat. We see them going and looking at, I guess it's a flat. I couldn't really tell if it was a flat or a house or whatever. And she's like sniffing around the whole place like, oh. And she's saying how some people accuse her of being a gold digger. But does this look like the kind of place a gold digger would be? And the flat's like $7,000 a month. And they put it in US dollars, so... but either way, if it's in pounds or dollars, it's a huge amount of money. And she's like, oh, well, gold digger wouldn't be here. I mean, look at our patio. It barely has a space for one table. Whoa. So it just cracks me up. Whenever people say, do I look like a gold digger? Like 95% of the time, they look like a gold digger. I mean, if she was like working and he was like sitting at home in his underwear, then I might believe her, but I don't know. I mean, I don't necessarily think she's a gold digger, but money's clearly very important to her. They do not have tickets, and so they're scrambling around calling everyone, calling Marissa, yo, can you get us a ticket? And trying to kind of weasel it in. And does anybody else think that Noelle looks just like an actress, like the sister on Arrested Development? I can't think of her name, but I think she looks just like her. It's killing me. So we find out this big secret from Caprice, which is that she hired a surrogate in the U.S. and then immediately, within a month, got pregnant. So I guess that's kind of a twist on the, if you adopt, you'll get pregnant. It's kind of like she got a surrogate and she got pregnant. So she goes to the tabloids and she sells them the story that she's going to essentially have fraternal twins about a month apart. So when she is 8 months pregnant, she will get her child from America. So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to work. Like, is she going to fly to America and pick up the baby, or how is that going to work? But anyway, she goes to the, it's on the front page of these tabloids. And of course, Caroline's like sniffing, like, oh, I can't believe Caprice sold her story to the tabloids. And which I think is funny, because it's always like, Caroline, you're on a reality show. Like, I agree with her, but on the other hand, it's always like a little bit like, as a viewer, we kind of snicker, like, I don't know that you should be throwing stones. So that kind of cracks me up. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, and we're kind of setting up this difference between Caprice uses the media a lot because of her company, whereas Caroline doesn't need to because she has this high-end gift company, which is such a weird, bizarre idea to me. Like, do people send out gifts so often that they need an entire company just for gifts? I guess so. I mean, I guess if you have all these obligations and a lot of money, I guess that would be fun to send out gifts every month. But anyway, Caroline's going to have a Roberto Cavalli dress for the Serpentine, which I love him from Project Runway. That's not exactly the classiest thing I've ever said, but I've seen him on Project Runway as a guest judge numerous times, and he's just, his accent and his whole mannerisms are just beautiful. Anyway, Marissa has this party before the Serpentine. Everyone comes, and Noelle and Scott are still trying to get tickets, and Caroline's like, well, I have one ticket, and Noelle's like, snatch, bye, Scott. Which kind of makes sense, because could Scott really go with Caroline to the event? Like, isn't that kind of weird? So it made sense, and I knew she had to be able to go. I assumed we were actually going to see some of the events, but clearly not even the Bravo production team could get tickets. But it seemed like, I think it actually would have been cool if she hadn't been able to get tickets, because they're kind of setting them up as a sort of, barely on the fringe of this group. So, and then Caroline's talking about how she went to a party and Elton John was like the surprise singer. And I kind of rolled my eyes, and I kind of was like insanely jealous. I admit it, I'm kind of jealous of their lifestyle. I wish that was sort of my, my current lifestyle, but it's certainly not right now. So anyway, they walk down the red, you see all the famous people who are walking the red carpet, and we see each of our sort of cast of characters walking the red carpet. And of course, Caroline's like, okay, they can take my picture, but now I have to go. But Caprice is like working the whole line, as much as she can, because for her it translates to press, and press translates to advertising for her company. And since her company does sell to, I assume, sort of the average everyday person, it makes sense. So that is a second episode, and I love this show so much, and I'm convinced that Marissa and I would be like besties, and they would all love me. And I think that's the kind of show that sells, is like where the viewer can identify with the people enough, but still the same way kind of judge them. And I'm just really enjoying it. I'm really shocked that everyone's not going crazy over this show. Anyway, I will see you guys next week.